United States Congressman Fred Upton from Southwest Michigan, the great Southwest, where we're heard on WSJM, is on the other end of our AT&T line right this very second. Welcome back to the program.
Good morning, my man. How are you?
You have a lot going on.
Oh, man.
I thought the dog days of summer, nothing happened in government, but that's not true.
No, not at all. We got a busy month, and this next couple of days are a busy day for me, actually the culmination of a year and a half of listening to folks all around the country, all the experts, and got to give a shout-out to the University of Michigan president and the dean of the med school, both at State and Michigan. They've been very helpful, obviously, at Western as well. But we've been listening to experts for the last year and a half. What can we do, Congress, to expedite the approval of drugs and devices, to get these to market faster, frankly cheaper, maintain the gold standard, but really, as you look at families, and, my wife is victimized with lupus, my mom's a cancer survivor, my dad's got diabetes, my uncle died of Parkinson's, my family's no different than yours. And we want to find the cures for this. It's been a huge bipartisan effort, roundtables and subcommittee hearings all around the country. I was in Denver last week. Real promise here, and more money for the NIH, National Institutes of Health. They're the real research arm working with our universities and industry so that we see these approvals here in this country rather than overseas, and frankly bring those jobs back home. It's a win-win. We're going to debate this beginning this afternoon and get to a final vote tomorrow morning.
There's an old saying, time is too long for those who wait. And in this case, sometimes we're talking over a decade, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it takes, for the average drug to get, that actually makes approval to get to the marketplace, it's often more than 10 years and more than $1 billion. And a lot of drugs get stopped because, they're not going to be safe, so it gets stopped. So that's a successful drug. But, I can remember when we doubled the money for the NIH, and John Dingell well, and I was one of the leaders back in the 90s to double the money for the NIH, and I went to the U of M research facility, the med school there, and I actually met the young scientist that identified the breast cancer gene. And we made real progress there, but, whether it's cancer or diabetes, MS, we want to solve all these diseases, and we are frankly the best nation equipped to do this. But we've got to take advantage of the new science as well, the genome model, biomarkers. Let's communicate with our universities, streamline that process so that we can get these drugs to market faster, safely.
Are we going to have a missile defense system? In the Reagan's days, they called it Star Wars, and Star Wars is fashionable again, so I don't know if that's what you'd call it. But
Yeah.
Are we going to have that in Battle Creek?
Well, the Defense Authorization Bill that's passed in the House and the Senate includes a provision that we need a missile defense system for the East Coast, of which Michigan qualifies. And our congressional delegation, led by Debbie Stabenow and Gary Peters in the Senate, and of course all of us in the House, 14 House members, we are actually going to tour all of our defense facilities, unprecedented, the first week in September. One of the stops is going to be Fort Custer, and they are in the real hunt. We are one of 4 sites that will be selected for literally a $3.5 billion facility. The governor's on board. Our local state legislature, actually Lansing, you all there, passed a resolution in support of what we're trying to do. It's going to get built someplace. This is only defensive site. It's not going to have live warheads. It's not going to be testing. If they go, there's a reason why they're going. But we have a pretty good site that, frankly, I think we could be number one in a community that wants it.
This is a dumb question, but doesn't that make us a target?
No, look, we have rogue nations. We have to be, it's the old saying, you got to be prepared. We've got Iran. We've got North Korea. Who knows what's happening with Russia, with what Putin's doing to Eastern Europe these days. We're protected. We have a missile defense system on the West Coast, and we need to protect the East Coast as well. So Congress has spoken. The president, he's going to sign this bill, I'm sure, when he gets to his desk. But for a long time, we've been preparing for a missile defense site, and we whittled it down now to one of 4 sites. We're in competition with Ohio, New York, and Maine.
Well, thanks for leading the charge for us. We sure appreciate it on the medical front and the Homeland Security front.